Number one, it's John Wayne Mullins, Mr. New Dad here. Hope you're having a great day, great week. It's Friday. It's been a challenging week for us all, and I certainly hope you've had a productive week. Today is day 36 of my 100-day challenge, and I've been having a ball. And today I'm going to be talking about systems and design and strategies, especially as a new dad, as you are transitioning into this new role. This is, something that I encourage you to think about because it's something that has been extremely beneficial to me with the new dads that I have spoken to, with myself. I've often thought that if I want to maximize my growth, just like I want to maximize my growth in my business with the leaders that I work with, I always say, if you want to sustain or achieve any type of goal or any type of growth, you have to develop strategies. You have to design the strategies. So if you're not familiar with that type of language, listen up, and I think you'll really like tonight's talk about the law of design. Now, this this specific law is this comes out of the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. And I've been reading this book for about 10 years, and I swear to you, every time I read it, I think it's because I'm reading it in a different season of life that I'm in. It tells me and shares me with it tells me something differently, and certainly is an encouragement to me of like, how can I continue to grow, whether that's in my marriage, in my business, as a dad, in my community, wherever it is that I'm trying to grow. This is certainly a number one top recommended book for any type of growth. So highly, highly recommend it. So we're talking about systems. We're talking about developing strategies. In order to develop strategies, guess what you have to do? You have to depend on systems. What does that mean? Systems are the tool to your growth. They really are. Oftentimes, a lot of organizations, they have systems in place, logistics, HR, strategy. There's many different systems within an organization that make it sustainable, but it's also there's systems in place that make it successful and profitable. The same thing, that same principle can be applied to your personal growth, especially as a new dad. Think about the systems that you have in place to serve your growth. One of the things that I really like to do is, I'm a big book reader. I enjoy it, but I also do it because it helps me think about myself, the role. If I'm trying to overcome a challenge, or if I'm trying to grow in a certain area, I turn to books. I turn to people that either have gone through this and they're willing to share their story, or I reach out to my network. I reach out to my mentors. I have I have a coach that I work with regularly, and I bring these conversations to them and say, hey, how did you get through this? Those are all part of my systems that I have in place for my business, for my personal growth, for my professional growth. It's all relative and it all works. And I'll tell you, the more you become aware of the type of systems that you need to be have in place if you want to sustain your growth or even achieve any type of success as a dad, these tools will certainly help you. But I encourage you to think about this, like, what are you wanting to achieve and what do you have in place? What systems do you have in place that will actually serve you in your growth? Does that make sense? One of the things that the author was talking about was, he has a system for, John Maxwell has written, I forget the number of books. I think he's in the 90s, but he has a system in place that the way he uses his phone, the way he captures his thoughts, the way that he writes, the way that he reads. He does 5 things every day. He reads, he writes, he takes notes, he what's the number fourth one? There's two more I'm missing. I'll find them and I'll share them with you. But he does everything, these 5 things every day, and those things help him as an author, as a business person, because he has seen that system works for him to be successful. The other thing that I wanted to share with you about why systems work is because they're measurable. You can take something and apply it and say, okay, did this work? Or if you are trying to simplify your life, or if you are trying to figure out, hey, I'm a new dad and I have all these responsibilities. What do I need to do to simplify it? Or what do I need to take away? Or what do I need to delegate in order so I can be home by 5? Or, yesterday we talked about boundaries. What boundaries do I need to put around my family, put around my time spent at work? What boundaries do I need to put in at work so I can serve my wife, so I can take care of my son or daughter? Those are all things that they're a part of your boundaries. And the same thing is with what I'm creating here. This is another example of a system. It's a tool in a system of creating people or creating a group so you can sustain your growth. Be thinking about, I mentioned the mentors, I mentioned men's groups, I mentioned books. Those are all great things that I have practiced. Those certainly learn that those can be successful things in your life, in your business, and especially as you become a dad. Because I'm not. I certainly hope I'm not trying to come off as an expert dad, because I only have 7 months experience, but I do have a wealth of experience in performance management and coaching and leadership. I know how to get things done, and I've applied these tools in my life, in my business, in my career, and they've gotten me where I am today. And the fact that you have the #1 leadership guru in the world talking about systems and applying them to your life, there's something there worth experiencing. There's something there worth studying. So if you don't have systems in place, think about, as you have either became a dad, or if you are becoming one, think about the areas in your life where you need to spend the most amount of time planning. Whether it's career, family, faith, health, hobby, marriage, personal growth, vacation, business. Like, what are those things in order, if you if you want to achieve that, if you want to become a great dad, if you have this vision of the type of dad that you want to be. Again, that's great. I'm a big fan of having strong visions. But if you're not willing to do the work or take the small steps to get there, then you'll never get there. And so systems and developing those strategies is so important, because it gives you some stepping stones in order to be that person. And I was just having a conversation today about personal growth. It's fun to talk about. Believe me, I enjoy, just like anyone else, talking about this. Or when I get to go in and work for a company, or do some strategic planning, or do facilitation, that's fun work to me. I enjoy my work. I enjoy what I get to do. The hard part is change. The hard part is actually doing the work, making the changes, cutting the processes, because they realize those are not doing you any good. Analyzing your design, or analyzing your strategies, analyzing your systems, and answering the question, are these helpful or are these hurtful? That's hard work, but it's rewarding work, because again, whether you're a business or if you're a new dad and you have this vision of this goal of the type of dad that you want to be, great. What are your steps to get there? And if your current systems that you don't have in place help you to achieve that, then it's time to actually sit down and do some strategic planning about your goals. What are they? What can you be doing? How can you be building up this ideal man that you have in the back of your mind, what changes do you need to make? And really being honest with yourself about, man, I realize I'm just using this as an example, is I realize that I curse a lot. Okay, how can you change that? How can you become more aware of that, and what are you going to do to change that? Or say you've up to this point you haven't had to think about other people, but now you have this son or daughter, and you have to start changing the way you look at your money. Things change the way you're budgeting your finances. How often are you looking at your budget? How often are you meeting with your financial advisor? What changes are you making? And that's a part of your system. What are ways that you are growing as a man, as a husband, as a dad? What are ways that you are growing in your marriage? I mean, how often are you dating your wife? How often are you? I went to this marriage retreat once, and they said you should do. They said one date a month, or one date a week, one like some sort of big event every year, whether it's not a vacation, but it's a way that you both are like a marriage retreat, or you're both getting something, you're both learning more. It's a way to invest into your marriage. Those are great things to do. But what are you doing every year in order to achieve that? It's like, you want to have a successful marriage. What are you doing to do? How are you having those intentional milestones? The same thing with you as dad, especially in this season. I've had to make a lot of changes, and I think a lot of the dads that are listening to this can agree. Is changes here, changes now. You're going to have to make a lot of changes in this season, but now's the time to do it, because 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, it's going to be, you may have another one, or you're going to have it be in a completely different season. So I certainly appreciate everyone listening. I could talk more and more about this, but I won't until either I do a webinar on this, or you come to my webinar tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. It's going to be on LinkedIn, in my LinkedIn event, or you can catch it on my Zoom account. I'll put both of the links on my in the comments below, but I hope you can join us. I got a special guest, Ben Killoy, the dad coach. He's going to be co-hosting, and we're going to be talking about the 10 challenges that new dads face and how you can overcome them. So I hope you can join us. And till tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow morning. But be awesome, be well, take care.